spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge needs his nephews all lean in, breaking down fights, calling stat daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged, from the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick, hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man, dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand, MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls, getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jabs to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. Tomorrow in the morning, for a lot of you, we are going to have UFC Paris kicking off. 14 fights, headlined by Renato Moicano versus the God of War, Benoit Saint-Denis. This is such a fun card. And the Paris crowd is probably my favorite crowd in all of the world. I think that these guys bring the energy more than any other crowd. I love the way they sing and chant together. I love the way they back their fighters. And we're going to be there tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to this, not only as a gambler looking to stack cash tickets like flapjacks, but also as a spectator, as a fan of the sport, because they got a lot of great matchmaking. The matchmakers did phenomenal on this card, in my opinion. And I think that there's a lot of great stylistic matchups here. And I am really looking forward to just watching this as a fan. But it's always so much more fun to watch as a fan when we're cashing bets. So let's find the spots that stick out. Let's try to make it 2 greasy 4-leg parlays in a row. We took a week off last week. There were no fights. But the week before, you know, we kind of ran the bookies into a dick saw last week, if we're being honest here. Up almost 7 units tracked on my bets. Hit the greasy 4-leg parlay for a half unit at like plus 600 or something like that. So we got one in the chamber here. We're going to try to make it 2 in a row. Also killed it on the DraftKings lineup as well. So it was a really good week. And now we're looking to make it 2 in a row. So let's just get right into it here. I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. And, oh, not that one. Let's add that one there. And let's really quickly talk about the Patreon. The full card predictions and probability going forward are going to be Patreon only for the people who support the work. What I'm going to start doing is putting out a free bet on YouTube every week. That'll be part of what my track bets are going to be, so that you guys can get a look at what the Patreon people are getting for their money. Because you don't just get my picks, you also get access to the Discord. You get access to the fight write-ups of every fight. And the fight write-ups are huge, you guys, because if you're a gambler who does your own research, you know, you want to have access to as much information as possible before you make your decisions. And what I'm doing here with these fight write-ups is I'm taking each fighter's most 3 recent fights and giving you a blow-by-blow of what happened in those fights for each fighter. So we got 6 fights. The last 3 fights here for Bolaji Oki, the last 3 fights for Chris Duncan. And then what we do is we take a look at the recent trends. You know, what's Oki been doing lately? How has the market been pricing his bets? You know, is he overperforming? Is he underperforming? And we look at that for both fighters. Then we look at the strength of schedule of both fighters, because we want to determine whether this is a step up or a step down in competition for each fighter. You know, we want to talk also about how those betting lines have been priced before this fight, how they're priced for this fight. Is there some recency bias in there? Is there some opportunity as we see the market getting too carried away on one side for us to take the other side? So we talk about that. Then we talk about the distance striking stylistic components. Then we talk about the clinch and grappling stylistic components. We talk about the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. And then we give you a summary and conclusion about the matchup, the pick, and then the best bets. And I do this for all the fights on the card. It's a lot of work, you know. I mean, like that right up there is 9 pages long, but it doesn't take you that long to read it, and it's going to give you all the necessary information that you need about the fight. You might not agree with my pick, but you're going to have access to all the information that I use to make that pick, and then you can use that information in your own way to make your own decisions. So I try to give you as much information as possible. And because I'm putting that much work into it, because these write-ups come out to 101 pages for just one event and 14 fights, I really only want the people who are supporting the work on Patreon to have access to that. I encourage you to join me, and I will be making it very clear on YouTube going forward what is going to be available to you if you sign up for the Patreon and support my work, and what you're going to get in return for that is going to be a lot, and I will be talking about that on YouTube going forward. But thank you guys for hanging out today. Let's get this greasy 4-leg parlay going. The first leg that I am going to be talking about today is the Daniel Barez money line at plus 110. So this is a fight where I feel like Barez is more dangerous, much more dangerous. I think he's got a lot more power on the feet. I think both of these guys are good wrestlers that can win some minutes with their wrestling, with their grappling. I like Victor Altamirano's toughness. I like his cardio. He's a very unusual striker, but I don't find him to be dangerous. I just don't see him being a finisher at this level. He did get a finish against Daniel Lacerda, but to be fair, Daniel Lacerda is 0-6 in the UFC. So I do think that Barez here, he's 35 years old. Victor is 33 years old. But I love Barez because I think he's going to be having the bigger moments in every single round. He hits way harder. He's a lot cleaner with his boxing. He pressures nonstop. And I like that against a long and lanky fighter that likes to use his kicks like Altamirano does. I don't think Barez is going to be giving him the space in order to win the minutes at distance. And if he can't win minutes, Altamirano, I don't want to count on him to win moments. So I am a big fan of the Daniel Barez money line here. And so let's just start right there. Daniel Barez money line plus 110 is going to be the first leg of this parlay. Pretend that you didn't just see the other 3 legs there on the screen. Leg 2 that we're going to go with is Taylor Lapilus to win by decision at minus 175. If you look at my prop betting model here, when we look at the money line here for Lapilus and we do the math in order to find what his win condition should be priced at mathematically, we're going to find that it should be priced at about 62.61%. And that's because 4 of 5 fights for Taylor Lapilus have been won by decision at the UFC level, and 4 of 5 fights for Vince Morales that he's lost at the UFC level have been by decision. So 10 fight sample size, 80% of that 10 fight sample size is indicating a win by decision for Lapilus here. And when we take that and we adjust that 80% by the 78% win probability that we have there, we have a bet that should be priced at about 62%. And the price at minus 165 is 62%. So we're going to be getting it at minus 175. So we're going to be paying just a little bit more, but it's a fairly priced bet that agrees with my stylistic read on the fight. And my stylistic read is that Taylor Lapilus is a phenomenal minute winner with his striking. He's so hard to hit. He's great defensively. He's got great footwork. He's very fast, and he's a very accurate and potent counter striker. So when you have that kind of a skill set, it makes it very difficult for your opponents to land, and you can find spaces in that big octagon to use your footwork, to use your speed, to use your superior distance management and your kicks to outpoint your opponent over a full 15-minute fight. So I really like Lapilus to win this one by decision. He's not really much of a finisher up at this level, and Vince Morales is known for being a very durable guy. So I do like Lapilus. I do like him to win this one by decision. And if we put that in there here on DraftKings, we go to winning method. We scroll down to Taylor Lapilus to win by decision at -175. That brings us up to +230 for a two-leg parlay here. Leg 3 is going to be fight doesn't start round 3 for Sharier versus Miranda. Let's go to my over-under betting model here and talk about this bet. All of these betting models that you see, obviously, they are available on the Patreon as well if you support my work. So when we look at fight doesn't start round 3 at -126, which is where it was earlier in the week, what you see here on line 23 for Gabriel Miranda is that 17 of this guy's 21 fights outside the UFC have finished inside the distance, and all 17 that did finish inside the distance finished in rounds 1 or 2. Sharier is somebody who's finished inside the distance only half the time on the regional scene. But Miranda is a very much a killer be killed fighter. And Charier's got incredible body kicks. I love the body kicks that this guy throws. And I think that in front of the live crowd, the very loud crowd, you're going to be live for Gabriel Miranda to get a submission early here. But if he Sharier pay every time he tries to shoot in on a sloppy takedown with knees to the body, with elbows, with maybe good body shots is a great way to discourage takedown attempts, and that's what he's going to want to do. So, this is a mismatch. Sharier is a -700 favorite here. So obviously when you're -700, the market is expecting you to finish. And in front of the live crowd, I think he's going to want to do that against a guy like Miranda. You don't want to let this guy hang around. You don't want to make a mistake in the grappling exchanges against him. So I think it would behoove Morgan to go out there in front of the live crowd, to go out there and just look to get the finish on this guy, knock this dude out. And I think Morgan's a good enough all-around fighter in order to do that. But if he makes one mistake in the grappling exchanges, what I like about the under in this fight is that, Gabriel Miranda is a finish or bust fighter. This guy's never won a decision in his career. So, even though he's a very big underdog, this guy has finishing equity. And he's really not on Charier's level. So if Sharier wants to prove something here, if he wants to try to get a bonus on this card in front of his home crowd, he's going to try to finish this dude early. So if we go to fight doesn't start round 3, we can go to the round props up here, and we go to start round X. We're going to scroll down here to Sharier versus Miranda. Fight to start round 3, no, is -130. That brings our 3-leg parlay up to +483. Now, excuse me, everybody that's on my Patreon knows who Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week is this week. But if you're not on the Patreon, you're about to find out, because leg number 4 is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Benoit Saint-Denis, Vive la France, -290 on the money line. I think that this is going to be such a fun fight. I'm a huge Money Moicano fan. I love the fact that he shouted out Austrian economists, Ludwig von Mises, in his last interview. The Show Me the Money podcast is some legendary shit. And it's legendary for him to take a 5-round fight in Paris against the God of War and Benoit Saint-Denis. This guy is one of the most terrifying fighters in the division. Nothing but offense from Benoit Saint-Denis. Let's look at some stats here. Let's have some fun, because we love watching fun stats. And when you look at output, right, Benoit Saint-Denis lands 5.7 significant strikes per minute on 10.4 attempts. That's 2 more significant strikes per minute than the divisional average, 2.2 more attempts than the divisional average. At distance, he lands 7.4 out of 15 significant strike attempts per minute, 2.8 more than the divisional average, 3.4 more than the divisional average on output. He attempts 12.8 takedowns per 15 minutes. He gets 4.8. That's 8.7 more takedown attempts per minute than the divisional average. That's 3.2 more completed takedowns than the divisional average. Even if we go to the detailed stats that I have available here for fighter by fighter, we can even see that Benoit Saint-Denis lands 4.31 clinch and ground strikes per minute while absorbing 2.07. And if we go here to the divisional benchmarks that I have available, you can see that clinch and ground strikes per minute are actually landed at an average of 2.17 per minute. So Benoit Saint-Denis is landing them at 4.31 per minute. So he doubles the amount of clinch and ground strikes landed per minute. He almost triples the amount of takedown attempts per minute on the divisional average. He has way above average distance striking and significant striking output. The guy is just all offense. We've seen Renato Moicano be finished in 4 of 5 professional losses. The only one he wasn't finished in was the Rafael Dos Anjos fight, and that fight probably should have been stopped numerous different times. I like Benoit Saint-Denis to go out there and not only win, but to shave the ass of Renato Moicano by finishing him in rounds 1 or 2. This is a nice big leg to finish up our parlay at. So if we go here to the fight lines, we go down to the very bottom. Vive la France. Benoit Saint-Denis minus 290 brings this 4-leg parlay up to plus 685 on DraftKings Sportsbook. If you don't have that fight to start round 3 bet for Morgan Sharier versus Gabriel Miranda, I would suggest just betting fight doesn't go to decision there. It's priced reasonably, in my opinion, for what I think the finishing equity is on both sides. So you won't get as good of a price as 685, obviously, but it'll still be a leg that I think hits quite a bit here. So leg 1, Daniel Barez money line. Leg 2, Taylor Lapilus to win by decision. Leg 3, fight does not start round 3 for Sharier versus Miranda. Leg 4, the Benoit Saint-Denis money line at minus 290, and that comes out to plus 685 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's get this one, you guys. Let's make this one 2 in a row. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here. We've got my guy Olajuwon Dream, always in the room, always first in the room too, and saying, let's make it 2 in a row, baby. Thank you, Uncle Chi. Weezy for the greasy 4-legger hitting at UFC Noche. Yeah, UFC Noche was a great card. Put in the work, wrote up all those fights, made some really great calls, picked 4 of the 5 underdogs that won. So we just want to stay hot, and I definitely put in the work this week. I'm going to be finishing up putting my bets out tonight for the Patreon people, and I'm working on getting the Tyra versus Royval stats package out to you guys by tonight. But thank you for acknowledging that we hit the last one, and let's try to make it 2 in a row here. And Olajuwon likes the intro song. I appreciate you, man. We got Rook Johnson saying, I'm your piglet, grease me. You got it, Rook Johnson. I hope you like the grease on this parlay. We got my guy, the Carrillo, in the room. Always good to see you in here and saying smash the like button, folks, and subscribe. I appreciate you, Carrillo. We got my guy, Brady, DFS by the numbers, in the room saying tuned in just in time to get greasy. Almost plus 700, Brady. We're going to cash this one and make it 2 in a row, brother. We got Olajuwon Dream saying, oh, yes. We got Jake Cole saying, smoking a blunt, listening to the intro vibe, and let's go, Jacob. Let's smoke these bookies like a blunt this weekend. We got Jeff K in the room saying, what's good, my dude? We got Jenna Marie in the room saying, happy Friday, Weezy. What is up, Jenna Marie? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Jeff saying, I thought your shirt said eat possum for a second. No, I would not eat a possum. It is Fat Possum Records. And as you know, with Fat Possum, they're always doing their best. So Fat Possum Records, shout out Fat Possum Records. I got to see Friends Band play last night over at Talia Hall. Shout out to my guy Benny Getz from the Symposium, great rock band here in Chicago. Opened up for a band called Somersault, who my girlfriend and I are big fans of. So yeah, I got to go see a show last night and listen to some live music here in Chicago. That was pretty cool. We got Covert Bets in the room saying, let's get greasy. If you guys aren't following Covert Bets on Twitter, on what the kids are calling X these days, he's got some really good content that he's putting out there for free on Twitter and using AI to make some really cool fight predictions and fight analysis. So shout out Covert Bets MMA. Thanks for hanging out in here. And we got Zach Johnson saying, what up, Weezy? What's up, Zach? Good to see you hanging out in here with us. We got 404 in the room saying, what up? What's up, 404? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Taz saying, is this MMA Guru? No, it is not. I have about 0.1% of the audience of the MMA Guru. So nobody's going to mistake me for that dude. He is killing it on YouTube. Absolutely killing it. We got Taz saying Diddy 2024. Oh, funny. Have you thought of doing a shows only tier of the Patreon that access to the YouTube links without the templates and write-ups? It could make sense. I don't know. Well, see, the thing is, like, you can join on my Patreon right now on the $10 tier and get access to my Balls Deep Breakdowns show, which is about 2.5 hours long of breakdowns where I actually read all 100 pages of those notes that I showed you guys earlier. So you get the show and you get the stats and you get access to the bets. So I try to give as much as I possibly can, to the Patreon people. But yeah, and also, Jeff, now on Patreon, for instance, if you want to watch Balls Deep Breakdowns just for this, going to be betting on this card, you can go to my Patreon and just pay to watch the one video, the Balls Deep Breakdowns video. It costs $5 and it's 2.5 hours worth of information. So you don't even have to be a member of the Patreon in order to pay to watch the shows. I do Probability for $10 and I do Balls Deep Breakdown for $5 because the Probability, Brady has put in his time on that show as well. And I want to make that available for download for people to watch because it gives you access to all the betting models that we break down on the show, in addition to how our stylistic reads are matching up with what the models are saying the plus EV bets are. So yeah, they could actually be watched, without subscribing to the Patreon or without paying a monthly fee. You could pay them. You could pay to watch it one time. So. We got Bill Norman saying, what is up, Unc? Just got to the party. Let's get greasy. Way, he is saying, what is up, Bill? Good to see you hanging out in here, man. We got Crystal Octahedron saying, I like the hair, Unc. Give us some stock trading psych advice a la Mark Douglas to better our game. I mean, so stock trading is something, it's very similar to gambling. Really, you're looking to find an edge. And you're looking to kind of have a system that tells you where the edges are. And then you play those edges and you're either going to be right or wrong, but you can't take it personally either way. So I was referring, maybe I think it was on Ask Weezy this week. I said, you got to be like a closer, like a Major League Baseball closer. Maybe yesterday you went out there and you pissed away a 3-run lead, against a shit team. But today you got to leave that one in the rearview mirror. You can't be thinking about that. You got to be thinking about that dude that's up there at the plate right now and getting him out. How am I going to do that? How am I going to be better than this dude with every single pitch that I throw? And that's every single bet that we make. We got to make sure that we're using sound reasoning and that we're making plays that not only have our stylistic read in mind, but we're also being very price conscious. And I mean, think about it. As a stock trader, price is everything. I mean, whether you made or lost money on a trade is all about where you bought it and where you sold it. And the price is the only thing that matters. So I think as bettors, we have to be aware that if you're going to make money in finance, it's about price. So if you're going to make money in sports betting, you better be very fucking concerned about price. Thank you for making me give you guys some advice, Crystal Octahedron. I appreciate you. Olajuwon Dream saying we going back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97. Those are some good years. Jordan was back from the gambling suspension, and he was putting together more winning ways for us Chicago Bulls fans. Aussie Fight Fan in the room saying, "Oi, what is up, Aussie Fight Fan?" And ring A ding, ding, ladies and gentlemen. My guy, Grateful Dude, been a part of the Patreon since the very beginning when there were like 10 people supporting me, saying the Patreon is definitely worth it. Best of luck this weekend. Grateful Dude, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for the donation. And thanks for being, I think, maybe the longest standing member of my Patreon. I totally appreciate you, brother. You're one of the ones that's been with me since day one. And one of the really good dudes out there. So truly appreciate you, Grateful Dude. Thank you so much for the donation, man. We got Hap Chandler in the room saying, Weezy, baby, what is going on, Hap? Good to see you hanging out in here. Kevin saying, Unc, when is just the tip for this card? We're not doing I'm not going to do just the tip anymore. I do balls deep breakdowns on my Patreon, on my Dub Club. The links to that are in the description of this video. And if you don't want to join, you can pay $5 to watch it on the Patreon for this week. It's 2.5 hours for balls deep breakdowns, UFC Paris. We got Ucelis in the room saying, Hap Chandler, where have you been? If this is the OG Hap, we got Ucelis saying W to Grateful. Thank you, Grateful. Thank you, Ucelis. We got Rob Pagorni saying, I love it. Let's get it again, Unc. Let's go, Rob. I'm going to see you over at Calansis, hopefully on Sunday for some football, brother. Weezy, does Gomez Brito go the distance? So if we're to look at my betting, my over-under model for that fight, I'll tell you what the model is saying that the value is on violence here. Under 2.5 at -110 is or actually fight doesn't start round 3 at +135 is my model's favorite bet based on value. And yeah, that's it likes it, and it's a Joe Anderson Brito fight. This guy actively looks to finish fights, so I definitely want to I want to say that I would rather bet violence here. I am not going to keep my butthole puckered for 15 minutes in a Joe Anderson Brito fight in front of a live crowd in Paris and think that it's going to go the full 15. I would much rather bet violence here. Joe Anderson leaves a lot of openings as well. So, and William Gomi is very fast and he can be powerful as well. So yeah, I think it probably finishes inside the distance. And my model definitely thinks that these are not overpriced bets at this price. Khalid Sabah saying, what do you think of Morales over 0.5 takedowns at plus money? So I don't like it. I don't like it simply because Morales, I mean, I think he averaged 0.1 takedowns in his previous UFC stint. But to be fair, you know, he kind of faced a bunch of good wrestlers. So maybe there is a chance that he wrestles here today. And if he does, Sharier's got pretty good takedown defense. It's been 75% at the UFC level. He stuffed a lot of takedowns from Chepe, I believe. Yeah, Morales was always somebody who trusted his boxing a lot more. But, you know, he's had 5 fights since we saw him last time at the UFC level. He might be more likely to wrestle this time. But personally, I think it should be plus money that he gets over 0.5 takedowns, especially based on the prior UFC statistics that we have available that would indicate off the top of my head, I think that he lands 0.1 takedowns per 15 minutes. Let's look here. Yeah, you guys, according to my stats, you know, at the UFC level, 0.1 takedowns per 15 minutes on 0.6 attempts. So in the previous 8 fights at the UFC level, this guy would not even attempt 1 takedown per fight on average. So it's probably, I don't think it hits, but you never know. You never know. We got the bookie man, my guy, Chicago's very own. I know that he's over there at Valley Flow striking a lot. He's got my guy, Ignacio Bahamondes, with a big smile on his face in that picture. And I'll tell you, that smile on Bahamondes' face was a smile that you would have seen on your Uncle Weezy's face when he actually did us very proud and cashed in his Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week on UFC Noche, getting a first-round knockout and a couple of drops against Miguel Loco Torres. That was a hell of a fight. And I've been trying to bookie, man, you got to get a hold of me on Twitter or something like that. You keep saying we got to get together. We got to talk to each other. You message me, give me a way to get a hold of you, an email address, something. Contact me on Twitter. Let's get together, man. We got Remdog saying, hey, Weezy, did you see that they made only Allen and Moicano provide piss and blood samples after weigh-in? Sounds shady. Really? They only picked 2 of them? They didn't make everybody do that? No, I did not see that, Remdog. That is really weird. I wonder why. We got to Bookie Man saying Benoit by KO. I got a bet on Benoit Saint-Denis to win in rounds 1 or 2. I'm thinking a knockout is the way that he gets it done, so I completely agree with you there. He's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week to Bookie Man, so I'm expecting a violent finish from Benoit Saint-Denis this week. Hey, don't knock eating possum till you try it. Well, I've never tried it, so I guess maybe you're right about that, Larry. We got, do you think the co-main finishes? So the co-main, yeah, I mean, so my model tells me that the under bets for the co-main event are definitely underpriced. There's value. There's value in a Brendan Allen finish prop. There's value in a Nasruddin Imavov KO prop. There's value in the fight doesn't go to decision. Let me see here. You can see here, so the under bets that you see here, you're seeing a lot of green there. I'm sorry, dude, I'm not even sharing my screen with you guys. I feel like a dumbass. You can see right there, there's a lot of green on that screen. And I definitely like the unders here. They're underpriced. And, regardless of what your stylistic read is, you always have to remember that, you're going to be wrong a lot. Somebody like me that writes 100 pages of notes, I've been first on Tapology 2 out of 3 weeks over a stretch like a month and a half ago. You're still really only getting when you're on fire 75% of your fight picks right. Over the long term, most people are between like 62 and 66%, I would say. So we're wrong all the time. So that's why price is so important. And the model here likes violence, but the stylistic read is probably that it does go the full 15. But yeah, minus 110 for fight doesn't go to decision is a trifecta bet. Plus 115 for the under 2.5 rounds, trifecta bet. My model's favorite bet is fight doesn't start round 3 at plus 160. That is the favorite bet of the entire for this over under bets. Of all 10 of these, this is what my model thinks is the best one, is plus 160 for the fight doesn't start round 3. Let's see here. We got what was the vibes in the city in the 90s when Jordan was dominating anyway? LOL. Did you ever catch a game? No, I couldn't get tickets to Bulls games in the 90s when Jordan was playing, man. I mean, like, this is a city where it's got a lot of rich people. And when Jordan was on fire, I mean, like anything that was going on in this quick story time with Uncle Weezy. So I used to work for a land surveyor back in the day, and we used to work out a lot in a city called Barrington here, which is in the suburbs of Chicago. And Barrington is an extremely rich suburb. So we would go out there. I had this great job when I was in college, and the surveyor was a friend of the family. We used to go out and do update surveys and do, just, if you know what a land surveyor does, they're civil engineers. They do plats of survey on a house. They kind of draw out your lot and they locate your house and any structures that are on the lot, make sure that everything is, according to, is up to code and everything like that. So one day we're out in Barrington in the backyard of this house, and we're on a golf course called Windstone. So it's this subdivision in Barrington called Windstone. And in this subdivision, they've got like a beautiful golf course, right? Really high level golf course, professional level, right? And so we're in the backyard of this house, and my boss taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Look at the tee over there. Look at that. Look at the tall black guy. Is that Michael Jordan?" And I'm like, "No, man, it's not Michael Jordan." John, I'm like, he's got a playoff game tonight. They're playing the Knicks. This was the Eastern Conference Finals. This probably would have been like maybe 95, 94, 95 maybe. Mason, Starks, Ewing, that team. And I'm like, "No, it's not Michael Jordan." He goes, "I think it's Michael Jordan." So they all hit their drives, all these guys, and we're sitting there, and holy shit, it's Michael Jordan. And we're sitting out there. It's noon. And I'm like, he's playing like from the United Center from Barrington is like an hour drive. This guy's on hole 8. He's not going to even finish golfing until like 2 or 3. And then he's going to drive down and he's going to put up like 40 points on the Knicks. So Michael Jordan was a goddamn legend, and he's the best to ever play the sport. He's the man. He was the most competitive dude on the face of the planet. And when he would be scoring, you know, like it's not an exaggeration to say that this guy was, you know, doing other shit, you know, besides playing basketball. This guy was gambling. This guy was playing golf. This guy was doing anything. You challenge this guy to anything, he was going to take it very seriously and try to kick your ass. But yeah, this guy was golfing 18 holes at Windstone Golf Course on days where he would have playoff games. He was an absolute legend. So yeah, man, it was wild being in Chicago when Michael Jordan was here. So that's a little story time for with your Uncle Weezy there for you guys here on the Greasy 4-leg parlay. We got Sal Pipitone saying, if you change BSD's money line to inside the distance, the parlay is plus 890 on FanDuel. And let me say, that gets the Uncle Weezy, bam, stamp of approval, Sal. You got my blessing to just up it to ITD and take the plus 890. I love it. Yes, I am on Duncan. I have a 1.5 unit bet on Chris Duncan at plus 165. I do like him to win this week. I think it's going to be a close fight, real fight picks. But I think that Duncan's wrestling is very solid, and I think he's going to be able to win minutes with that. And I don't think that Oki is that much better of a striker than Duncan. I think Oki's definitely more likely to land the big shots, to land the more eye-catching shots. But over a full 15-minute fight, I think Duncan's got a really good chance to win minutes with his wrestling and land some big shots of his own on the feet. So, and you're saying buy houses with me, Crystal, the Crystal Octahedron. Jeff K saying I did, but I was pretty young in the 90s. Hell yeah, Weezy, says Jeff. All right. We got Crystal saying, yeah, I heard you talk about it this week. It's similar to betting, and the same mindset that's useful in trading is also useful in betting. Absolutely, man. You could be a mini Vanguard hedge fund. I used to work back in the day. You know, I mean, I used to work on the floor of the Chicago Stock Exchange. I had Series 7, 63, and 55 licenses. I was trading NASDAQ stocks when the towers fell on September 11th, 2001. I was a specialist on the floor of the exchange down there. So, I mean, yeah, I've got a finance background. I had several licenses. I've passed 3 actuarial exams. You know, I'm not just somebody that out there picks fights. You know, I mean, I definitely know math. I definitely know finance. I definitely know trading, and I made a living doing that in the past. We got Red Bar Rants in the room saying, I just got here because of my Jesse on Fire live stream. I didn't notice he's the best in the world at live streaming. It wasn't mean. It was not MMA. This is broke DGen. Yes, it is. You deleted the YouTube account because they had no free speech on my account, but now I realize it's for everybody and for me on my new account, so I didn't need to delete my old account after all. Just saw DFS by the numbers. Yeah, I was just watching him too, man. And I always talk to you about you two guys. I explained that you're both in on it together, where one of you is the pure numbers MMA guy and the other one is the daily fantasy guy. I really let people know about that. Appreciate you, Red Bar Rants. I picked Torres like a dumbass, says Cole. I mean, Torres is a good fighter, you guys. I mean, that's why Bahamundis was a slight underdog there, is because Torres has been very hot lately. Khalid saying Morales is fighting Lapilus, not Sharier. Well, did I screw? Well, I mean, I've got it on my sheet, you know, Lapilus Morales there. Yeah, Morales Lapilus, my bad. I screwed that up. Solid card for us old men, starting at a decent time and always liking my uncle on a Friday night afternoon. I'm REM sleeping at 11 p.m. for other shows. I hear you, dude. We got Robert saying, put up the leg again on the screen. There you go. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there you go. We got Daniel Barez, money line, plus 110 is leg number 1, Robert. Leg number 2 is going to be the Taylor Lapilus to win by decision. Leg number 3, fight doesn't start round 3 for Sharier versus Miranda. And leg number 4 is the Benoit Saint-Denis money line at minus 290. That gets us to plus 685 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's see here. We've got the bookie man saying Julie round 4-5 Weezy. I'm telling you now and new October 5th. And yeah, I'll download the Twitter and hit you up. What's your Twitter? At MMA Weezy. I think I got it here. Oh, yeah, I guess I don't. Yeah, at MMA Weezy on YouTube. On Twitter. That is the Twitter at MMAWEEZY. All right, and let's see comments. Let's see. Gomi finish no action. Yeah, the decision only. Yeah, I like the decision only for sure. I think that's Gomi's probably his best path, and I think Gomi by decision is a good play as well. Jeff K has I've never experienced a rush like seeing that Ribovics fight in person. Dude, my goddamn stream went down during the Ribovics fight. Missed rounds 2 and 3. So I completely missed the fight. I saw round 1. Round 1 was close. I felt pretty good about having a plus 190 ticket after seeing round 1 because I'm like, that one could have went either way. And then people said that round 3 was just legendary, one of the best rounds of all time. So, and then and you said, and then your adrenaline dumped so hard after that fight. I'll bet, man. I heard that was awesome. I heard it was an amazing fight, but I still haven't seen it. But I know that Dog of the Week last week was Esteban Ribovics, and he cashed for us a plus 190. We got Engie in the room saying, "Oi, what is up?" We got Jeff saying, "My mom's best friend is rich and gave us her season tickets a couple of times. I don't remember the actual games, though. Just going. That's awesome." Yeah, and we got Olajuwon Dream saying, "Left my ass out." I'm not even surprised MJ getting in a round in before a playoff game. Yeah, he absolutely did that, and I was sitting there with my jaw open. So I was like, when my boss said that he thought it was Jordan, I was like, "You're out of your mind. He's playing tonight. He's not going to be playing 18 holes before a playoff game." Wrong. We got Jeff saying Barrington is like suburban country rich. Yes, very rich. Over 1.5 main event. I would not bet that, but I think it could go over 1.5. But Benoit puts such a pace on. I could see it finishing in under 7.5 minutes. I'm not betting an over in that fight. But, it's a fight. Who knows what's going to happen? Dope story time. Love it. I'm glad you like the story time. Brito round 2 is also a great spot. Battle sub 2-3 is a great spot. Brito round 2. Yeah, I think that's a good look too. And Battle's got a very dangerous submission game. He's a really good finisher. So I like that too. MJ was probably playing for money each hole too. Oh, I'm sure he was. There's no doubt. MJ's not out there not trying to gamble, man. I mean, he was trying to kick your ass. He doesn't care how good you are. He doesn't care if he's giving up strokes or whatever. He just wants to compete. And we got my guy Rob saying, "Yes, thanks for story time. That has to become a thing." Yeah, dude, it's something I try to do when I remember to do it, but there's some great stories. I mean, and let me tell you something. I should have Rob on one day because Rob and I were fraternity brothers back from 1993 to like 1997. We were Sigma Chi's over at the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois University. And I mean, if you guys want to hear some story time, dude, I should have Rob and my buddy Chris come on the show one time and they could tell you stories about me in college, man. We had some fucking fun in college, and story time with Uncle Weezy is based on a lot of those stories that we had going back on in college. We got you, Celis. What do you think about DC denying Jones is Michael Jordan of MMA or Mighty Mouse, or he's wrong? I mean, they've got a kind of a rivalry still, so I mean, I don't know if I would really care. Like John Jones is the GOAT. Let's just face it. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. So arguing some of those things, it could be a little bit pointless sometimes, but I believe that John Jones is the GOAT. We got Robert Saladino saying he's in. He's got, who's the lock of the week? I like Benoit Saint-Denis as the ass shaving of the week this week, see. We got Robert saying Roundtree has any chance next week. I got to look into that fight still. It's going to be tough. I'm going to be looking for some specific things from Roundtree there. And if he shows some of those specific things when I watch the tape, I'll take a look and see where the money line is and see what I think. But let's see. We got Larry saying my crazy long shot of the week that I see as a real possibility, same game parlay. Moicano sub over 1.5 with a round 1 knockdown for BSD, plus 12,000 right now on DK Thoughts. Should I put my mortgage on it or $1? Don't put your mortgage on any fight, you guys. You know, that's something that's always a really bad idea. Having a roof over your head is way more important than betting on any fight. But then, yeah, I mean, like maybe throw a 10er on it or a 20. I don't know what your unit size is, but yeah, it's. I mean, that's you know, a pretty specific combination of events there that you're asking to happen. So it's a big plus money number. I'd keep it small and then try to hit it. We got the Jacob Cole saying light heavyweight GOAT for sure, without a doubt. All right, you guys, appreciate each and every one of you guys. The Bookie Man, you can see that Twitter handle right there on the screen at MMA Weezy, and check out the Patreon, check out the Dub Club to get access to the stats that you saw here, to get access to the fight write-ups, all my tracked bets, and the 4+ hours of subscriber-only content that is available there. I'll be marketing what's available there on that Patreon pretty heavily over the next 8 weeks, and trying to get as many of you here that enjoy my content here to support the content over there and really give you guys an edge in terms of research on betting on these fights, so that we can all stack cashed tickets like flapjacks together, not just for UFC Paris, but for all the cards going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe on your way out. And we will see you guys tomorrow on DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel for Stat Diggers. Have a great time watching these fights. God bless each and every one of you, and we will see you guys on Sunday for Stat Diggers. Good luck on all your bets this week, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Paris. Take care.